What's good, everyone? This is Jin. As promised, here is the showcase for the physical version of Super Trunks with the Extreme Z Awakening in relation to the Strength type Super Trunks that I've already showcased earlier this morning. If you missed out on that, certainly just hit the link in the pinned comment. I'll direct you guys toward the Strength version if you haven't been able to see it yet. Okay, so let's talk about this unit. I do have to say, this is one of my oldest units. Not the oldest, but amongst the oldest. So it's very, very nice to see this guy get that EZA. I mean, it's just, all we're asking for at this point is to make certain units more viable and playable in terms of like the current state of Dokkan Battle. So I'm certainly glad they did that. Now, from a skill set standpoint, let's talk about it real quick. So leader skill, all types key +3. HP attack and defense increase to 60%. I think that's the same as the super type version. The super attack will cause supreme damage to enemy and raises attack and defense for 3 turns. So depending on how you look at it, I guess it might be better to go off with a little higher levels toward additionals and crits. I went with 11 to 15 distribution like I previously had it set. I've got a couple of copies that I could use to change around the potential levels, but in this particular showcase, that's pretty much the setup you're seeing. The passive skill is key +4 attack and defense increase of 200%. Yeah, you heard that right, 200%. Disables enemy guard and weakens regeneration. So, this is a little bit different from the strength type version where, right off the gate, you pretty much activate all of your passive skills, right? Versus the strength type where you kind of have to build up depending on, the turn or having a Vegeta ally on the team or rotation. So clear difference between the two units there. I'm kind of glad they differentiated the two units a little bit in that regard. Okay, let's talk about the links. So level 10 links, Golden Warrior has all enemies defense minus 10% key +1. Messenger from the future is attack increase of 10%. Super Saiyan is attack increase of 15%. Royal and Lineage will be key +2, attack increase of 5%. Prepare for Battle is key +2, attack and defense increase of 5%. Soul versus Soul is weakens enemies regeneration, key +2, and attack and defense increase of 5%. And lastly, Fierce Battle will be attack increase of 20%. For categories similar to the Strength type version, a lot of them. Hybrid Saiyans, Future Saga, Full Power, Time Travelers, Vegeta's Family, Super Saiyans, Android/Cell Saga, Bond of Master and Disciple, Rapid Growth, Saviors, Connected Hope, Heavenly Events, and the Attained Evolution, which is the new category brought by the Strength type Super Vegeta. Now, from the 100% potential stats, you've already seen it, but HP is 17,282, attack is 15,760, defense is 10,447. The 12 key multiplier is a little bit on the low side. It's at 130%, so maybe there are some issues with that, but that's something that doesn't really change a whole lot. I think there might have been like 1 or 2 cases where the multiplier actually changed with an awakening or EZA or whatever the case is, but in this case, obviously not. So what's my impression about the unit? To be honest with you, I am honestly satisfied. The fact that they made the unit more usable is more important than anything, and with the introduction of Super Vegeta, it only made sense to EZA these guys because as a fellow player, and I'm sure a lot of you guys agree, I wanted to run the Super Vegeta with the Super Trunks unit, whatever version of it, because they're the super versions of themselves, right? I mean, it only makes sense to run them together and see how they play out. So that's pretty much what you're seeing in the first half. I made the scenarios pretty much same as the Strength showcase, right? I wanted to run the exact same team, the 2 variations of it anyway. So the first part is the Super Saiyan category team, the second half will be the Hybrid Saiyan setup. But I also ran the same stages just to have a very good controlled environment between the 2 units, right? That way you're able to see, which one's performing whichever way. I'm not going to say one's better than the other, but the difference I guess I need to point out is the Strength version in that showcase, the link levels were all 10s across the board, whereas this one, it ranges from 4 to 7 or 8. I can't remember the highest link level for this unit, but it does range, so maybe there's a little bit of a handicap for this unit versus the Strength type, but either way, I wanted to, essentially line them up side by side, same scenarios, same team builds, whatever, and just see how they would perform individually. So again, first half is Super Saiyan setup with the Super Vegeta linked up with the Super Trunks. I think in the second half it'll be the Strength type Super Saiyan Trunks from the Broly movie. That's pretty much the linking part because of the massive boost that the passive provides from that unit to Hyper Saiyan units. So of course that makes sense. And I will say in the second half of the video, I did run a lot of double support rotations just to kind of show a more optimal scenario where we're trying to essentially boost up the attack and defense stats as much as possible versus the first half where it's a little bit more realistic. Like right now, you're seeing a somewhat realistic rotation with the Super Vegeta, and you basically just have one floater as support. And that's how typically I would run a lot of my teams anyway. So double support could be a little bit of an overkill, but again, it's just a matter of trying to get this guy's stats as high as possible in that case. So it serves its own purpose, I guess, in that regard. But I don't know. What do you guys think about the Super Trunks EZAs? I mean, they're pretty decent in my opinion. They're not broken by any means. I don't think they're ever meant to be, right? Like these EZAs, unless they're like really, really popular prime time units, they're not gonna be like crazy, you know what I mean? And that's fine. I mean, I think it's okay the way they do it, as long as they're usable. Is all I'm asking for, really, because a lot of cases like the physical Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, even the 2 Trunks units that I've showcased today, Trohan, whoever. I mean, the AGL Super Saiyan Goku, that pretty much is like a starter unit for most players. Like all those units, without the Extreme Z Awakening, they're not even playable, on some of the tougher events. Like you can't even think about including them because they'll be such a liability to you, right? So all those units that I previously mentioned with the EZA, they become a lot more viable options. Like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, you're seeing on the rotation right now. In the past, for showcases, like years ago, I loved running this guy as a supporting partner to, for Super Saiyan units on a showcase because of the 35% at the time was a massive boost toward attack and defense for all allies without any sort of restrictions. The only downside of that unit was, offensively, if he doesn't perform well, I mean, that's fine from a showcase standpoint, but just that defensive liability issues where he's gonna get your team killed, basically, right? So that's the problem. And a lot of these units with the EZA, they just become better, and that's the whole point of it, right? Is to make them better, not necessarily broken, but make them viable options. Like I've repeated like 10 million fucking times already, probably, but you get the point. But I think I'm curious what everyone else's impression on the units are, because I personally got what I asked for, right? What I would want out of the unit they gave, so I'm pretty much content. It'll be interesting though to kind of play around with these units a little bit more and just kind of test out different environments and team builds and see what works and what doesn't. I kind of talked about an idea in the prior video that I might roll out this weekend, which could be pretty fun. So yeah, I'll definitely shoot for that. I'll have to hit up Nolar about it and let him know about the idea and whether he wants to do a race and has time for it. So I guess keep that in the cards and we'll let you guys know. But yeah, I mean, overall this is good. I really don't have any complaints. The most important thing for me is, considering how old this unit is, the EZA was much needed. I mean, if we look at the timeline here, this unit came out on December 28th of 2016. That is a long time ago. That is a really, really long time ago. I think on global, it looks like it came out on May 25th of 2017. So obviously at the time, there was like a 6 months lag. I think that was kind of the baseline for scheduling between JP and Global back then was, they typically would be 6 months behind. A lot of things have changed since then where they kind of throw in curveballs here and there, but back then, I mean, it was pretty straightforward. I think it was literally the same schedule. There was just a lag back then. And then we had like global exclusives and they started switching around the schedule and what have you, and mixed it up to where it wasn't predictable. I think, personally, it's probably a good thing where you can't, necessarily plan out everything ahead of time. It's probably good to, but you probably want to have some wild cards here and there to make it interesting, right? That would be what I would think from a non-global player's perspective, what a global player would want. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if I'm completely off the mark on that one too, but it'll be interesting to see. But you guys are going through a 6-year anniversary right now in global, so hopefully things are the times of your life, so to speak, right? I mean, it's an exciting time to begin with, so I'm sure you guys are having fun and not really worried about a Super Trunks Extreme Z Awakening. But for those that play on the JP side, hopefully you guys did enjoy the showcase. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been waiting for this for a long time, and I'm not disappointed at all, so I'm pretty happy. So, thanks for watching. As always, check out the next one coming up, and until then, I'll see you guys later. Alright, peace out.